What was the incident at your school? Teacher got fired for posting pictures of attractive underage students on a known pedophile site. A girl no one suspected was pregnant gave birth one weekend. Her father was a police officer and before he could break down the bathroom door she suffocated the child. A sophomore in high school was filming up girls' skirts and got caught. It was all over the local news. This made national news in 93/94. My freshman year of high school. A pretty and popular girl got pregnant by her BF. The BF denied it was his. And wouldn't have anything to do with her. She told her mother. And the mother flipped out and kicked her out of the house. And she committed suicide. The Spanish language channel was doing a graveside interview with the father. On Live TV. During the interview, the mother showed up to the grave. That's when the father walked to his car, grabbed his gun, and shot and killed her on Live TV. The father ran, but was caught trying to get to Mexico, I believe. Going to school was really sad and weird for a while after that. I didn't know her well, but we shared most of our classes together. And that desk that stayed empty the rest of the year was a constant reminder. In grade 5 the teacher was reading the diary of Anne Frank to the class and we were all on the carpet listening intently. Things were serious as she explained to us that they were about to get caught. Out of nowhere Paul releases an unstoppable 7-second fart into the middle of the group. It was one of those farts where it's obvious he'd been holding it while the pressure built. Meanwhile, his sitting on the floor created an exemplary embouchure that trumpeted poor Paul's misfortune throughout the room. It stunk too. We laughed. He cried. We all got a talking to. A girl in my graduation class got caught sleeping with a gym teacher. He was fired and she had to leave the school because of bullying. The teacher had a wife and a kid too. Edit. This was an MN and happens a lot more than we think apparently. Murder-suicide happened in the middle of the street. Mid-morning. Just a block away from the school. 2 brothers. Grown men. One borrowed money from the other and couldn't pay it back. The very next week, someone called the cops about a gang of armed militants marching on the school and everything was locked down for hours. Some little old lady saw the JROTC team doing their parade drills in their usual spot. At the usual time. With their wooden rifles. Friend and co-captain of the soccer team brutally murdered his parents. His mom was my English teacher. The fork incident. My freshman year. 2 red-wearing gangster kids got into a fight for some reason that nobody remembered or cared to even remember. And the 2 started a legitimate fist fight. The fight escalated within seconds. And the other kid stabbed the other kid. With a fork. For some reason. All the kids for the rest of my high school years remembered the incident. If a kid was gonna get in a fight, some kid would inevitably say to bring a fork. Or give a kid a fork as a joke. It was my junior-senior years. Between my high school and our rival South School, there were 11-13 deaths of students. Primarily suicides including suicide by cop, pretending to hold a gun to get shot, and by car wreck. Kid stole a car and crashed it into another car, died on impact. There was a series of 3 within 1 week. Everyone at the school was really depressed. Students were constantly missing. Had to bring in extra social workers and therapists and teachers basically were powerless to control the student body and got really lax on school work. The school brought in the survivor who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and we cancelled school for the day to go to the assembly and listen to him speak. Kids just sat in the auditorium and cried and just ditched class. I heard it's gotten a lot better but no one from my graduating class talks about it anymore. Sophomore who was super athletic and in good shape, varsity football plus tennis, was playing tennis one day and went into sudden cardiac arrest. He died just like that. Semicolon. It's a strange feeling knowing he was there in class with you one day. And the next he's completely gone. 4 people committed suicide my sophomore year. The CDC came to the school to try and figure out why. 1980s in an Australian high school in a country town. Teachers having affairs with teachers and their partners finding out. One partner husband chased a teacher that was having an affair with his wife around the school and punched him. Male teacher having affairs with multiple female teachers at the same time and them finding out. Not bad for a school of about 500 students. Who needed drama on TV? We could watch it at school. Nothing really happens at my school. But one time one of my best friends drowned going down a river saving a girl's life after she was drowning because she had a bad leg. School then after half a year took down his memorial we have in the hallway in the trophy area and everyone, and I mean everyone, was at the off. He was a legend and loved by everyone. A ceiling tile fell on a student. 2 students were found having sex in the girls' bathroom and they were both dating other people. In 9th grade we spent 45 minutes in world geography class watching our teacher, who was also the baseball coach, chase a cow off the baseball field. 10th grade English teacher MRS. Wife forgot the intruder alert drill was just a drill and freaked out and farted quite loudly trying to make a barricade out of desks. No one told her that it wasn't real until a toot. This thread is too dark. Here is my addition. A few kids were having a farting contest in high school, and one of them himself. Someone set fire to the school, which led to us having a longer summer holiday. Legends. For your information, I live in the UK. It seems every school has an arsonist or two. My high school's principal was caught on tape during a presentation telling girls not to wear yoga pants if they are not a size 1 or 2 because they all look like sausages. Made it on national news outlets. Edit. The principal was a female. And the only reason I'm not posting a source is to protect my identity, but a quick Google search of the event places you in a high school in South Carolina. So I don't care too much. Thanks everyone. A security guard came across a student blowing another. During the school day, somebody set fire to the toilet paper rolls in the men's bathroom. For some reason though, the school was put in lockdown instead of being evacuated. I guess it was because the fire was relatively small and was put out fairly quickly. But it did send my social studies teacher to the hospital since he got hit by a stall door trying to put the blaze out. That lockdown was a smart move, to be honest. Before my time, some kid brought a nail bomb to school. Told his buddy about it, who thankfully told the administration. A friend's little brother, freshman, stood up in class and killed himself. He had taken the gun from his oldest brother. Their parents had no idea that there was a gun in their home. He had written a note to a girl saying he was going to do this. She went to her parents with it. They took it to the school. The school did nothing. Female teacher gets drunk and has sex with a student on a spring break trip to Spain. When we get back, they don't fire her. She spends the next 6 weeks getting drunk and tries to make a run at several of us, me included. Semicolon. She was not invited to return the following year. Kid found out he couldn't process alcohol at a school party. That is, he found out by dying in his sleep that night. Wow, my school is really boring compared to some of the stuff that's happening at other schools, lol. 1. A guy cut his entire middle finger off when he fell from the chair during the infamous chair rocking. Every teacher brings that up when someone does that, and this accident is still talked about by students when they see him in the hallway. 5 years later. 2. After the final exams. The senior class has a whole night to prepare pranks to pull on teachers and younger students. Usually they just get drunk while preparing the same boring pranks as the year before, but not the class of 2016. They put 5 chicken in the elevator. The teacher's conference room was full of like 15 pigs, and they put a cat in every class. I have never seen such a chaos. But the teachers' faces when opening the elevator and going into the conference room, priceless. Okay. So this one's a little dark. But anyway. This happened when I was in year 5, IDK what grade this would be in America, but for reference I would have been like 11. I remember coming to school and everyone was quiet. I asked what was happening but nobody would tell me. Eventually one girl in my class let me know. Basically, this teacher who was teaching year 4 at the time was caught trying to meet up with a 14-year-old girl for sex. They had talked online for like a month. And during this time she repeatedly said she was 14. He also said some pretty ed up like there's something innocent and fresh about them. In regards young girls. And baby, I just want to hold you and feel your lips on mine. Full stop. It turned out to be a police sting operation and he was arrested and given a 2-year sentence. Fun fact. For our Easter parades he was the one dressed up as the Easter bunny who would give out Easter eggs. There was no more teachers dressed as Easter bunnies at our parades after him. Bedbugs infested the school. The school didn't notify students or parents till a week after it was discovered. Almost 100 students brought them back to their home. The county ended up paying for the cleaning of all the students' homes and finally everyone figured out which student initially brought the bugs to school. Or Bedbugs Bernie. Bedbugs for All was definitely one of Bernie's least popular socialist programs. Someone clogged the toilet by biting a brick so wide and solid that it filled the circumference of the toilet hole. Like, it was as wide as a Boston cream donut. And a pure solid. Should have had a poop knife. An innocent kid in grade 10 died in a gang shooting last year. I went to a high school where gangs had some serious influence. We had a policy that if there were 3 gang related fights then all the students got sent home. Can't tell you how many days there would be 2 gang fights before the first bell even rang. Student had sex with a teacher. Got caught and posted all of the female teacher's nude pics online. Had a couple senior pranks that made the news. Police shootouts in the surrounding neighborhood. It wasn't uncommon to find bullet marks on the outer walls of the building. I miss Puerto Rico. Quarterback who was in AP classes and had a hot cheerleader girlfriend. He was truly a popular guy. Loved by teachers and super nice to other students. All-star dude. He killed himself. In his note he referenced the pressure several times. Edit. Over the past about half hour I've seen several responses to this along the line of if he couldn't handle the high school pressure. Good that he checked out before the real world. I'd seriously like you to take a step back and look at that and think about if that's the level of empathy you want to approach the world with. A sex tape was discovered between 3 students. Maybe one was filming? Don't remember the breakdown. The guy came in the girl's eye and she was known as Cyclops throughout the rest of high school. Not sure how people saw this tape cause it was like 2004 before smartphones, so it must have been like a physical tape. Some girl OD'd on Xanax in the bathroom stall. So the school decided to limit everyone to using the bathroom only 3 times for the rest of the year. And fill a sign-out sheet pass each time. Most teachers ignored the new policy. So the school ended up dropping it and pretending it never existed. Dude fingered his booty hole in front of his friends. Another dude banged his sister a few times. Edit. This got some traction, so let me go into more detail. Booty hole guy and his buddies watched sex talk with Sue Johansson. I guess the topic was prostate stimulation. He got ridiculed pretty hard. But I think he handled it reasonably well. Until the goofy senior class photo when everyone lifted up fingers as a reference to his deed. He marched to the principal and told the front office what he did. And wanted people to get in trouble for making fun of him. Several dozen detentions were issued. The cis bro hookups always happened on New Year's Eve for some reason. Both were really fat. And it went on for a few years. Everyone found out once she joined an incest support group on Facebook. Excuse me, what the? A group of rednecks decided to fill a 50-gallon trash can full of water and dump it on top of a kid with Down syndrome while he was on the toilet, over the top of the stalls. The kid in question was one of the managers of the varsity football team and well liked by the team. The seniors on the football team sent several of the rednecks to the emergency room. Senior prank where they plastered PRN mag pictures all over every window at night. Edit. I didn't get it from MTV prank show. Didn't know MTV had one. And wow, I thought this post would get buried with the rest of the comments. Glad you enjoy my schoolmates' high school antics. A 33-year-old mother stole her daughter's identity and came to school for 3 days to relive her high school days. She even joined the cheerleading squad. Someone microwaved a cat and left it in their locker. After a couple days, the stank was so overwhelming they had everyone in that hall open their lockers. Ended up with 10 drug arrests and one smelly ass cat. The school gym had a side room that was used for wrestling practice. Entire floor and walls covered in mats. Apparently nobody ever cleaned underneath them because a fungus black mold started growing. Whole wrestling team was hospitalized and the room cordoned off. But it had spread to the weight room next door, so the entire football team got sick too. The football and wrestling seasons were cancelled entirely and the gym was closed for 2 months for disinfecting. The year was 2005. During lunch, someone supposedly took a dump and broke the toilet in half. Principal along with 20 teachers brought all the guys into the gym and showed us slides of the turd and toilet bowl split in half. The entire gym was laughing so hard while the teachers tried to get us to settle down. Nobody ever confessed to the crime. I have a lot of stories. 1. At prom. Me and my friends walk into the ladies' room, we were sophomores, to hear a girl giving her BF a blowjob. She then walks out of the stall and vomits on the floor. Sinks. Everything. Then she collapsed crying in a puddle of her own vomit. 2. Some guy decided to pull a senior prank. He brought a bag full of his urine. He then walked onto the stage during lunch and poured the stuff all over the ground and proceeded to dance in it. 3. My history teacher RP'd a girl with autism. What is going on at your school? Dude? Easily. Happened when I was a senior. This long-time couple. Cutest thing ever. But she ended up cheating on him in a threesome and the FX tape was released to school. She was dumped. Spiraled into depression. Attempted to off herself via train. She lost an arm. Her legs. But managed to survive. I don't remember much after that. It was wild. Teacher was found getting SZUL favors from a 9th grade girl who was held back like 3 times. I went to a school for people with ADHD, autism, and other more severe learning disabilities. A year or so later, another girl claimed SZUL abuse from a teacher who didn't actually do anything. She just was mad because he wouldn't let her keep disrupting class. He got fired and can't teach anywhere, but hey, wait, wine goes Skylar. This guy was like 60 something and his whole life was devoted to helping kids. She bragged about it being fake and getting him fired. Everyone told her she was a huge piece of edit. Her name isn't actually Skylar obviously, but still guys, this happened like 7 years ago, maybe cool it with the death wishes. Teacher dated a student. Fairly openly. They got married immediately after graduation. Rural school in the 90s. When the science wing caught on fire. Or when there was a mold issue. Or when nails fell from the ceiling. Or when 1/4 of the building got condemned for structural integrity issues and rust leaking down walls. Too many structural problems to choose from. Edit. Highest rated comment is about my high school falling apart. Nice. Also, no, it was not Detroit, but I did chuckle when it was mentioned. High school. Grade 11. Announcements: ladies sit down instead of sit down during a severe weather drill. Those wonketeers expect us students to keep quiet. We could do anything but keep quiet. There were a few. Freshman year. A couple of guys wanted to drop a brick down one of the staircases to see what would happen. They had people block off all the entrances. But someone still tried to go up the stairs anyway. It landed on his head. I don't know the details of what actually happened. But I do know that he survived. Sophomore year. The Votech recruiter had 2 guys in my grade and gave them both chlamydia. Junior year. A girl got mad at a teacher. Broke a window. Stabbed one of the aides in the throat with a piece of broken glass. And locked herself in the bathroom. We were in a lockdown for about an hour and a half and she got tased and arrested. Senior year. Guy in the grade below me stole a gun from his friend's grandmother. Tried to sell it to an undercover cop. And got arrested and sentenced to 5 years in jail. We've had a lot of incidents. Our school in our area is known as cursed. I think there's been 9 deaths of students in my 4 years of going here. Sophomore year chemistry teacher was arrested for distribution and sale of meth. Freshman year had 2 bomb threats in 2 weeks. Freshman year also had 2 gun threats. Had a guy in the student parking lot after school threatening to beat kids up if they didn't give him money. 1 or 2 kids from my school got RP'd by a fellow student from another school at a sleepover. Edit. This was a year or 2 after I got out of middle school, but one of the administrators was fired due to texts arising of her texting a student telling the student to harm another smaller and younger student. Sophomore year chemistry teacher was arrested for distribution and sale of meth. They should make a TV show about this one right here. A high school teacher left the entire marching band in our state capital for a day because he forgot to get a sub back in class. So you know. Instead of calling the school and explaining the up, he just ditched a bunch of school kids in the middle of the night. With no warning. So he wouldn't lose his job. Great thinking. Also, he was caught assisting a few girls in his class. Edit. I wrote this before rushing to class, so I didn't get the chance to read any of these comments. Holy. I can only think of 3 deaths in all 4 years of high school. 1 suicide. 1 death by train beheading. And 1 heroin overdose. I'm sure there were more, but it was never this big. Now I'm sad. Ejaculate. The wrestling team went on a field trip to Nick. And they all got drunk and high. They decided that whoever passed out first was to get jizzed on. Kid ejaculates onto another kid's forehead. They take pictures. And put them on Snapchat. Everyone was kicked off the team and suspended afterwards. Another wrestling kid ate a slice of pizza with jizz on it. Edit. There was actually a court case for sexual assault and child PRN. Our all-boys private school used to have a yearly dance party with an all-girls private school just a few blocks away. I say used to. Because they cancelled it after it was revealed that a bunch of girls were giving head to the boys chorale style in circles on the dance floor. When I was in high school, my friend dropped dead a couple of months before graduation. He was talking to his girlfriend on the phone and she heard a thump and he was just dead. His little sister found him before the girlfriend could make it to the house. No reason found on autopsy either. He just died. My high school had 5 fires in 1 year. A guy killed himself. He jumped in front of a train. He was apparently bullied and he might have been gay. He was 15 yo. I knew something was up when I was walking from one school building to the other. When a few janitors came together and talked about an accident with the train, which wasn't far away from school. I knew it had something to do with one of the kids, and unfortunately it was true. I still think about it every time I drive past the spot where he killed himself.